So you are able to see the board. You are able
No,
to.
sir. Yes, sir, I am able to hear now. I'm able to hear now, sir. That time you asked, I could not tell. My mic was not working.
Okay, okay. Now it is fine. No? You are able to see.
Yes,
No?
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we'll start. Otherwise it will be delayed. Okay. So in the last class, we have almost the pseudo spectral method also we have seen. Not in great detail, but the most important things we have seen. Okay. So you remember, right? So pseudo spectral method we have said you can do by two ways. One is that is anyway the collocation so it comes under this collocation method itself. So there are two ways are there. One is you can go for the series expansions like Fourier series expansion or something like that. You treat a series coefficients as unknowns, and then directly you treat the function values itself at those points. Okay, so the function values at the collocation points itself as unknowns, and then you solve directly using the cardinal functions whatever we discussed in our last class. Okay, so you will, with the help of this cardinal functions, say directly you can represent in terms of function values, and then you solve you get the solution actual. Okay, so this is what we have said. And one most important thing also we have seen that suppose if the collocation points say, okay, if you take this collocation points same as this Gaussian quadrature, Gauss points or something like that. So now what happens, our pseudo spectral method also will give you more or less you see similar results, or maybe exactly same as this Galerkin method also. Okay, so this we have discussed in last class. Okay, so this is how you solve in the pseudo spectral method. Okay, so you can solve some problems. I think Eigel's book contains some wave equations, one dimensional thing you can use by solving by this the pseudo spectral method. So now let us discuss the finite elements. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so let us discuss this the finite element. Okay, so now of course you see many of you would have done this FEM course and you people are all familiar, so we will not go into more details. Just whatever is required for this is only we will discuss it. Okay, just a brief mention we will do here. Now finite element method, as all of you know, right, it started from with the structural engineering community only. Okay, but then it became popular and then you followed it. Nowadays everybody is using this FEM techniques. Okay, and it is a very powerful technique. We will see. Okay, you can see yourself in solving many the complicated problems. Okay, so like for example, if you are having topography, say the most important thing in FEM is if we have topography based in say irregular surfaces. Okay, irregular surfaces if you have say, so if you're having something like this wavy kind of a thing, so representing these type of things becomes a very problem in finite difference spectral pseudo spectral methods, and FEM is the best actually. Okay, in in representing you see complicated things. Even sometimes you may have to do the meshing, like some places will be there where the velocities will be high, some places you will have velocities will be low, then the mesh element sizes and other things you have a lot of advantages in FEM compared to all other methods. And you would have seen in FEM course FEM can solve most of any complicated problems you can solve by this FEM itself. Okay, so now let us see how do we follow, right, how to do this FEM kind of a thing. So now if you see our one dimensional wave equation, say, okay, so if you see this one dimensional wave equation, so so rho dou square u by dou t square. Okay, so this will be so dou by dou x. Okay, the shear wave if I write. Okay, so mu into dou u by you see dou x plus your f will be there. Okay, this is just a shear wave equation where mu is a shear modulus. Okay, And rho is, you see, the density of the medium. So this is our one-dimensional wave equation, say. So now if you want to solve by FEM, okay, so what you do, what is the first step you do? These type of dynamics problems. And FEM, what do you do? Essentially, so which derivatives you solve in FEM? So if we are having any partial differential equations, and now we are having with the time, and then we are also having with respect to space. Okay, now in pseudospectral method, what we used is was a space was solved in pseudospectral. Now in FEM, what you will do? So in FEM, which derivative you will represent? This also in FEM, this also in FEM, or what do you do in FEM when you have this type of a time dependent problem? What do you do in FEM? So you people have done a course, in FEM. What is that you do in FEM also?
Represent in partial differential equation, sir.
The partial differential. Now what do you do with respect to time? This also you solve in FEM. Time derivatives. So in FEM is used for which purposes? Time derivative or spatial things you to represent? No.
So spatial thing.
Spatial. So if you are having any beam or a plate or whatever, say, what do you discretize? You don't discretize the time actually, because that is not in your control. You discretize shape into number of the elements. So in FEM also same as pseudospectral only. The spatial derivatives or the spatial domain you represent in terms of the finite elements. When it comes to the time derivatives, say, still in FEM also we use the finite difference or the Newmark beta scheme or something like that. Okay, so finite difference method only is used essentially, or Newmark, some many time integration schemes are there. So what one does is when you are having equation like this in FEM, what we try to do is we don't touch this time derivative. So this equation we will write like this actually, mu double dot, you see, some plus ku plus cu dot is equal to f kind of a thing. So this stiffness matrix and other things you extract from your finite elements, and this time derivatives you don't touch it actually. Okay, so once this time derivatives we solve by, like in your dynamics course you would have done, right, as a multi-degree of freedom system, and then that Newmark beta scheme or finite difference method we used to solve the time derivative. So FEM also essentially is required for this spatial things only. Okay, so now this equation say, so we represent so u of x comma t, say. Okay, so this we write as some u bar of x. So we write like this, I is equal to 1 to n. So separation of variables we try to do. So uy of t, say, and we have this phi I of the x itself. So this phi I of x, say, we call them as the basis functions. Okay, so we call them as, you see, the basis functions itself, and this uy is nothing but the function value at the points itself, at the nodes. Okay, at the nodes itself. So this is our starting point. So now, so this you substitute in our you see this equation. So u x comma t, I'm sorry, so this you have to write as x comma t itself. So we write the separation of variables thing, and then first we separate this time derivative and the spatial derivative. So if we substitute in our equations, and then in finite elements, what equation of how do we, whether we substitute directly in this equation or what do we do in FEM? In FEM, what is the starting point? Which equations you solve in FEM?
A weak form we will do from the strong form. Then we will substitute.
Now, what equation will you? Strong form or weak form?
Weak form.
We use weak form. Okay, this is the most important thing. Finite difference and pseudospectral. What did we do in pseudospectral and FEM? Sorry, this finite difference. Which equation we solved? See, in finite difference, what equation we solved? Weak form or strong form?
Strong form only.
We directly substituted. What we did in finite difference? Directly this equation itself we took. So this we modeled by central difference. This derivative also by central difference. We solved. So we didn't do any weak form or anything. Directly the equation itself we did. Now in pseudospectral, what did we do? See, in pseudospectral also previously, what is that we have done? So, if you want to solve by, so you wrote as, you remember, so an in your Fourier series representation, whatever was there. So directly you substituted in this equation only. And then we said, you are discretizing the domain into these places, and the residual say that is, this equation has to be 0 at all these points, and we solve. Okay, so pseudo spectral or finite differences say generally they go for strong form. Okay, directly you use in the, the equation itself. Okay. Now, but in finite element, what form we use?
Weak form.
Weak form. Okay, so now you remember what is weak form. Long back in our first class. Okay, after we started this course, we have discussed in great detail strong form equation, weak form. The equations itself. What was a weak form equation? Any of you remember? What was our weak form equations? Long back, we have written this equation also.
So
Long
it
back
was
integral.
so
What
it
was
was
that?
integral equation, sir.
What was that integral equation? You remember? So we wrote, we have written in terms of the integrals. You remember? So that I think if you remember that equation for three-dimensional medium, so we wrote like this also. Dou square, ui by dou t square. You remember? Minus fi. Multiplied by some weight function we have done. So this is an arbitrary function, and this integral is with respect to volume. Plus we have the volume integral say, so sigma ij, so dou wi by, you see, some dou xj dv. So this was on the volume. So this we wrote as, ti into wi into d. This is a conservation of linear momentum. Okay, so we wrote in an integral, the format itself. So here the main key is, so you write in weak form say, so these are the basis functions or the weight functions also have to be selected. So for any arbitrary function say, so this has to be satisfied. So this is what we call as, you see, the weak form, the equations itself. So now here also you have to do the weak form, but here our equation is not this equation. Our equation is simple, the wave equation here. So here we have to derive our weak form equation. So we do like this. So this is our domain. Okay. So because it's a one dimension, so rho dou square, u bar by, dou t square, this has to be multiplied by the weight function. So here we are taking the weight functions as our basis functions itself. Okay, plus you have a domain, so mu, so dou by dou x, and we have dou by dou x. No, just one second. Dou by dou x of u bar. Okay, and then you see dou phi j by dou x. Okay, so multiplied by dx. So on the right hand side say, so we have this one, so f into, you followed it, phi j dx. So this is our weak form equation. Okay, so you can see the strong form equation was, so rho dou square u by dou t square say, plus dou by dou x mu into dou u by dou x. Okay, is equal to f or something was there. So that was our weak form equation. So now the strong form, this is our strong form. So now we have converted this equation into a weak form kind of a thing. Okay, so this we solve. We don't solve the original equation itself. So this is the starting point in FEM. Okay, so FEM starts with weak form, not with the strong form equation. So this is the most important thing which we have. So now you followed it. What this quantity is? So this integral will give you what matrix? You can see these integrals are there. Say, okay. So what is the meaning of this integral? What is the first integral will give you in FEM? So if I do all this integration, say this rho into this phi j here over dx, and we have this integral say, so mu, all those terms, so dou u bar by dou x, so dou phi j by dou x say dx. So what these integrals will give you? What quantities you will extract from these integrals? Now what are these integrals essentially?
So first term was acceleration, sir. Second one is stiffness.
Acceleration only, but finally if you do that integral, so that rho phi j into dx, okay, multiplied by acceleration, okay, dou square u by dou t square. So what happens, this equation essentially, so this turns out to be see, finally what are you doing? You are converting everything into this type of a matrix. Okay, so you will get finally mass matrix, stiffness matrix, and you see the damping kind of. So anyway here we have not included any viscoelastic or anything like that. So finally, this gives you followed it mu double dot plus ku say is equal to f kind of a thing you will derive actually. So now this derivative say, so now you have to solve only for this u double dot. So this you can do by finite difference or this Newmark beta, whatever you would have studied in your that dynamics course actually. Okay, so generally sometimes if you try to do it in central difference or whatever say, so u t plus delta t, all of these formulas and others. So dt square, so you have m transpose minus inverse. Okay, so f minus k transpose into you see u plus 2 times u of t say. Okay, minus u t minus dt. So we are expressing in central difference. Okay, using the because t plus dt and all those things are there. So if you use the central difference say, so you can automatically derive this equation. Central difference formulas for u double dot, in finite difference we have already done. Okay, so use that formula, so you can get this type of a solution. You see, we can see here. Okay, so the most important thing in finite elements is a, so when you are doing for a large system, so m is our mass matrix. We will derive okay so, shortly, but anyway just and k is our stiffness matrix. So now what is the most important thing here when you do this once so here when you do this in time derivative differentiation. Okay, so now what is the most important step here? If you see this expression carefully, you will understand what the most, there is one most important thing is here. What is the most important thing? So you have mass matrix and you have stiffness matrix. Okay, so what is the most challenging thing in FEM? Now you just look at this equation and tell me on the right hand side. So if you look at these expressions, okay, what is the most challenging thing here? Now, so this and this are anyway easy. Okay, but if you see these two matrices here, what is the most important challenge here?
So obtaining inverse of large
Matrix.
matrices.
Very good. Okay, so this is the most important thing is okay, stiffness fine. But if you are having 1,000 elements, say 1,000 by 1,000, if you are having 1 lakh say, so 1 lakh by 1 lakh matrix you have to inverse, which is very expensive. You followed. So it has inversion of essentially the mass matrix in for dynamic problems. Okay, so which is very expensive and which is a little bit this one, that is how the spectral other things comes later on. So this anyway, this is how you see we try to solve it in the FEM. Okay, so now let us solve this wave equation. We will see the steps in great detail. The mass matrix, stiffness matrix, how do they look like? You would have done in your FEM, but anyway we will just see. For simplicity say we neglect this time. Okay, and assume it is a static problem. So the time derivative, if you throw it out in our wave equation, say, so this derivative, if you delete, in our wave equation, so you have only two terms only will be there. So our equation will be, so minus mu dou square u say by dou x square is equal to f actual. So this is our wave equation. When you neglect, you see the time itself. So now in FEM say, so we do in this weak form. So mu, okay, dou square u by, so dou square you have this term will be there, yeah, multiplied by some weight function say. So if you denote this as v is equal to you see f into v dx. Okay, so v is some arbitrary the function, so some test function or the weight function, or sometimes or basis function also we call basis or weight or whatever you followed, right? So this is our the first step, the equation of the equilibrium. So now, so this integral say, so this can be done by integration by parts you can do, and you can do this integral also. So d, so mu say, so dou square u by dou x square multiplied by v times dx. So you do integration by parts. Okay, so this integral what happens is, so mu, so dou u by dou x, then we have dou v by dou x, okay, dx minus mu dou u by dou x multiplied by v. So the domain, so this you have to integrate at x max and then you say x min actually. You follow. So this is how we do the integration by parts. So now if you see these expressions and all of sigma is mu into dou u by dou x itself. Okay, so this is our stress strain relation actual. So now what does this term indicates? The second point, these terms. Yeah. What does it physically tells you? The last term. What is the physical meaning of that term? Now, what does it tells you? What is the physical meaning? See, what is the meaning of x max and x minimum? See, suppose if I take a one-dimensional, say, because we are solving, what is x max and x minimum?
So maximum and minimum displacement, sir.
Displacement, x min. You see that one? So 0 to A, if I'm having 0 to L, say, what is x min? What is x max?
So x min is 0,
X min
sir.
is 0 and X max is L.
So what does it tell you? They are nothing but the end points or the boundaries. You followed. So essentially that is the boundaries. Okay. Or the meaning of the statement is, so you have to find out mu into dou u by dou x into v at x max and at x min actual. So which means, so the last one say, this indicates something like, you see, the boundary conditions. You followed. So that is a main advantage in FEM. So this is also very, very important. The main advantage with the weak forms or these energy methods or FEM is that it gives you the equation also, plus we also will get the boundary conditions. See, as already I told you, right, in our earth, say, if you are doing for earth simulations, what is the boundary condition at the surface? See, on the surface of earth, say, what's the boundary condition?
So stress is 0.
Stress is 0. So what does it mean? What is stress here? So mu into dou u by dou x, say. So this is nothing but the stress itself. So if it is, if you want the stress to be 0, say, what happens? So this equation has to be deleted. That's all. So mu dou u by dou x into v at x max or x min, it will be deleted itself. Now suppose if you are having a free beam, say. So beam is the free. Both the ends are free. Now what will be the boundary condition? So at x min also, what will be this quantity? Now, so mu into dou u by dou x is stress. Okay. So now when you say that stress is 0 at 0 and as well as L, it is a free beam. So what happens to this quantity? Now,
0 only.
So it will be 0. So if you ignore this term, say, so it means you are directly solving a free beam problem actual. Okay. So the main advantage is in our FEM, say. So you also will get to see the boundary conditions. Okay, and essentially when you are solving for our earthquake problem or something, so the surface of earth was free, so it simply ignore the terms. Automatically the stress free boundary condition will be satisfied. In finite difference, so how did we solve this stress free boundary condition? See, in finite difference, how did we solve? Any one of you remember in finite difference? How did we solve? We got anything or what? How did we do that one? So in finite difference, how did we solve? You remember? So we made one very important, no? What did we do? Like in finite difference, you remember that stress imaging we did?
Yes, stress imaging, yes, sir.
You remember? And we said sigma minus 3 by 2 is equal to this side. You followed, no? We used this type of conditions actually, minus x, and then we did. So the boundary conditions, we imposed actually based on stress imaging or something like that. But the main advantage in FEM, say, the thing is, automatically, you see, it enters on our solution and you can implement at the starting point itself. So this is also one very advantage of our, the finite element method itself. Okay. So now, so once these things are there, so once the static problem, say, so now we assume u as, some u bar of x. So we write like this. So sigma, I is equal to 1. So we write actual. So uy into phi I, and phi I are our basis functions. Okay. So we assume simply the linear, the functions here itself for this problem. So now with this you substitute in our equation, say. So mu we have, so domain, so dou x, you had, then we have dou x, the v dx. So this will be, you see, df into times v into dx actually. So this is our equation. So now in this problem, so we take v as the same as, you see, phi of x itself. Okay. So we take our test function as same as our basis function itself. Then this Galerkin method comes. Okay. So this Galerkin approach also comes in FEM also. So now so now if I write this basis function phi of a, say, so we write like this. So phi a of x. So we define the basis function like this. So x minus xi minus 1 by, you see, xi minus xi minus 1. So this value is xi minus 1 less than x less than or equal to, you see, xi, and then xi minus 1, xi plus 1 minus x by, you see, x I plus 1 minus xi, xi less than or equal to x less than or equal to, you see, xi plus 1, otherwise it is 0 elsewhere. So this is how you follow, right? The basis functions are computed. So these basis functions are like this actual. Okay, the first basis function, say. So the first basis function, so this is our elements. Okay, 1 2 you have, say, 3 4 5 you followed, right? 6 7 whatever you have, the basis functions are like this. And then it is 0 at all these places. So this is the first basis function, say. The next basis function is so our basis function will be, so these are the points. It is like a cardinal function only. Okay, so it goes like this, and then at all other points it is 0. Now the third basis function, say, it will be followed. So here we have, so it will be 0, so it has like this actually. Okay, and then 0 at all other so this is how that we are assuming the basis function. So now the assumption is so in the elements, say, so our basis function will be same as the nodal values itself, but inside an element how it is varying. So here what type of functions we have assumed, so this is one element here. Okay, so now so we know the node points here. So inside an element, how it is varying. So it is varying in a what type of fashion?
Linearly it is
It is basically a linear element. Okay, that is just simplicity. You see, we have assumed. If you want, you can assume quadratic and the higher order things also are possible. Okay, just for this we have taken this one. So now so you substitute this phi of x in that equation, say. So we have mu, so d dou x sigma, you see, I is equal to 1 to n. So we have ui and then phi I. Okay, so dou x phi j dx is equal to so this one, so f into, you see, phi j dx. So this is our the basic equation. You substitute. So now you do this. The summation can be taken the outside here. So I is equal to 1 to n. So ui, and then mu, anyways, the shear modulus you can take outside. So we have dou x phi I and then dou x phi j times dx. So these are the two derivatives are there, and here we have this one, so f into, you see, phi j dx. Okay, so these are our equations. So now here if this term says, so we are having two integrals on this side and this side. So if I represent u as an array, so u1 u2 like this up to un, so these are nothing but the displacement at all those node points. Okay, so this itself we are taking it as unknowns here, and if I denote f, say, so this as a matrix kind of a thing or array, so f into phi 1 dx. So integral f into, you see, phi 2 dx. So like that we have integral so f into, you see, phi n dx. So this is my the f matrix here. And now this quantity, say, we denote this as a stiffness matrix here, that is a kij. Okay, is equal to mu. So this one, so dou u by dou phi I by dou x and dou phi j, say, by dou x dx. So this is our stiffness matrix. So now here if you see this expression, so we can write this expression as in type of a matrix format. So ui kij, say. is equal to, fi, sorry, fj. Okay, so this is our matrix here, or if you write it in matrix format, say, so is equal to f, where your u say is nothing but you say k transpose the whole inverse into f. So this is how we derive our stiffness matrix, and then finally we calculate our displacements here. Okay, so these anyway the starting followed, right? In the FEM we try to do this one. So here for static problems, say, so the main challenge is you have to invert this inverse of a stiffness matrix. But when you talk about the dynamics problems, say, so you may have to invert the mass matrix itself, which may be a little bit expensive. Now suppose if the boundary conditions, if they are not free boundary conditions, if they are not free or some other boundary conditions, or maybe some arbitrary. So in FEM, how do we incorporate? So if we, so u bar, so you remember how do you incorporate this one? So we have, right, so we are writing this as I is equal to, so now we are having, this is our problem, say. So now I have to implement the boundary condition. So this is my I am starting with un and then un. Okay, so at all these points are my the nodes of my FEM, and each element we have. So now if I want to incorporate other type of boundary conditions, say, what do we do in FEM? So suppose if it is a fixed boundary condition, or I want to give a displacement as something, or some type of arbitrary boundary conditions for displacements. So what we do is the expansion for u we write like this. So ui into phi I is the general. So I is equal to 2 to n minus 1. Okay, plus we have so un into phi n. So we write the displacement field like this. So this u1 and un, say, so they are your displacement boundary conditions. Okay, suppose if the display, if you remove the boundary conditions, then you write as I is equal to 1 to n itself. But if you want to give some extra boundary conditions, say, so you can also write in this fashion. This you substitute in your equations of equilibrium. So then it becomes I is equal to 2 n minus 1. So we have mu ui. So integral we have, so dou phi I, say, by dou x, and then dou phi j by dou x into dx. So this becomes integral f into phi j of dx. So over this domain, plus we have so u at x min, these terms also will be there. So u at x min. Okay, so multiplied by dou phi 1 by dou x, and then you see dou phi j, say, by dou x dx, plus we have u of x max. Okay, so integral d, so dou phi n by dou x and dou phi j, say, by dou x dx. So this is how we incorporate. If you want to incorporate some more extra displacement boundary conditions, you can incorporate in this format itself. So the number of basis functions has been reduced, and that the endpoints, say, so the displacements are already given, maybe depending on the type of the problem. So you can incorporate this also in finite element in this format itself. So here number of unknowns are less, only n minus 2 only are there, because both the endpoints already the displacements itself. Okay, so this is how we try to do generally in the FEM. And sometimes in FEM, say, what one uses these type of things to evaluate these integrals. What one does in FEM? What do we do to evaluate these integrals in FEM to make it more simple? So this you have to evaluate for all the things. What do we do in FEM?
So we use shape functions.
We use the shape functions. You remember, right, that reference element and all others comes here. Local coordinate system, global coordinate system, same like you would have studied even in matrix analysis of structures also. Okay, so we use this reference element. Let me just write. Okay, so we derive this the shape functions and others we try to do. So let us for this problem, what we do. So like for the same function, so we define a new coordinate system. Okay, so that is some psi x minus xi, and we also define hi, which is xi minus xi minus 1. These are step size. Okay, so we do like this. So phi I, so we define in terms of the local coordinate system. So we define like this. So phi I we already defined previously. That was the original. Okay. So that is these are the basis functions here. So we have defined like a global system. Okay, so this is something like the global coordinate system we have defined. Now we are doing in a small this local coordinate system. So same expressions, instead of writing in terms of x, now we will write in terms of psi and h actually. Okay, so that is what reference element we try to do it if yeah. So now if you write that expression, so this becomes psi by hi, okay, plus 1. So this minus hi less than psi less than or equal to 0, and it will be 1 minus psi by hi for 0 less than psi less than or equal to hi, otherwise it is 0 elsewhere. Okay, so this is my reference element in local coordinate system, and you can want to find out its derivatives also. So dou phi of psi, say, by dou psi. Okay, so this derivative also you can easily find out. So 1 by hi, so minus hi less than psi less than or equal to 0, and minus 1 by hi or 0 less than psi less than or equal to hi, otherwise it is 0 elsewhere. Okay, so this is how we write in our local coordinate system. So now to compute our stiffness matrix, say, so Kij, so this will be mu, yeah. So dou phi by dou x, and then you see dou phi j by dou x dx. So this was in the original the global kind of a thing. So now you can write this in terms of the local coordinates. So this becomes mu, so we are writing using d psi dou phi I by dou psi, and then so dou phi j, say, by dou psi d psi. Okay, so we try to do in this format in the local coordinate system, and then you have to assemble at the global level also. So you people would have done previously, like for example, if you see the matrix, stiffness matrix K11, you remember. So there is no, but our rest of these members are all, the domain becomes a minus h to h. So minus h to 0 we have, and 0 to hi actually. But when you calculate the first stiffness, say, since you don't have minus h or something like that, so you will be having simply so dou phi 1 by dou x, and then dou phi 1 by dou x dx. So dou phi 1 by dou x, already the expression is there. So 0 to h, say, so minus 1 by h minus 1 by h d psi. So this becomes mu by h square integral 0 to h d psi. So this becomes mu by h actual. So this is our K11. Okay, now similar fashion, so you can find out K22 also, but when it comes to K22, what happens? So mu, so this have to be found out. So phi 2 by dou x, and dou phi 2, say, by dou x dx. So this has to be calculated. Now when you try to calculate in this reference coordinate system, so what happens here? Now the limits for K22, what will be the domain here? What will be the limits of your domain K22?
0 to hi.
No, 0 to h will be there, but also you will be having contribution from, see, the same you remember, right, in FEM. See, now if I want to calculate at this point, so what happens? This point becomes coupled with, you followed, right, the previous one also. So now you followed, right? So you do, so same as what you would have done in your matrix courses also. So this becomes minus h to 0 dou phi 2 by dou psi. Okay, so dou phi 2 by dou psi d psi, plus we have 0 to h, so dou phi 2 by dou psi. Okay, so dou phi 2 by dou psi d psi actually. So now so the stiffness matrix is here. So this becomes if you calculate those expressions, so 2 mu by h you get actually K22. Now similarly, so you can also find out K12 also. Okay, so mu, this is domain, so dou phi 1 by dou x, dou phi 2 by dou x dx actually. Now here what happens in the stiffness matrix, K12 for this problem, say, simple beam problem, no, like this axial rod or whatever you would have done, what will be the stiffness matrix? You remember how it will look like? See, there are n by n elements, say, how the stiffness matrix looks like. Can you remember, any one of you? This problem is
K
same as
minus K0.
K
K
minus
minus
K.
K0 minus
0
K.
0. So what happens? You will be having K11 will be there, K12 will be there, all other things will be 0, 0, 0. And similarly say, sorry, this one, now here what happens here when you do for K22, okay, so you will be having K22, you will be having K21, and then you will be having, you followed, right, so K23, 0, 0, then you have, K, you followed it, 2, 3, K33, like this you will get like a banded, the matrix kind of a thing. You would have done solved easily, you can try yourself. Like one spring you followed, right, like this type of a springs, you would have studied in your FEM also, simple element. So when you take for K12 say, so K12 also you have contribution only from 0 to H. So this becomes, so dou minus 1 by H, and then 1 by H d psi. So finally if you evaluate this one, so minus mu by H you get, and you can also calculate K21. And what will be K21? Now, what will be
So same
K21?
as K12, sir.
K12, because right, why stiffness matrix is symmetric? Why stiffness matrix is symmetric in our structures? What is the reason? Come on. See, now in your structure analysis also you would have studied, right? Always stiffness matrices are symmetric. Why? So why symmetry? No, you would have studied, right, in our structure
Because
analysis.
matrix is positive definite.
No, that is a different. If matrix is symmetric, then it will be positive definite. Okay, but why stiffness matrix is symmetric? Always you remember, right, in your structures also, if you calculate K23, it will be same as K32. Why? What is the reason? Why stiffness matrix? You would have done in your undergraduate structure analysis course. You would have done in analysis. We teach this one only. Stiffness is symmetric. Why? Based on what principle? What principle? Stiffness matrix is symmetric. See, this is a fundamental question, for structural engineers. You understand? Even in comprehensive or even in interviews also, we ask this question. Now, why stiffness is symmetric? Based on which principle?
So principle of superposition.
Principle of, what are you telling? See, principle of superposition is valid for linear systems, not for reciprocal symmetry of stiffness matrix. You remember, you have studied this reciprocal theorem?
Maxwell-Betty theorem.
Maxwell's Betty theorem. Now, what does Maxwell's Betty theorem says? You apply load here, you find out displacement at other place, and then you apply the same load and find out displacement at this place. Both of them will be same. So this reciprocal theorem you would study. Okay, Maxwell's Betty's reciprocal theorem. Based on that theorem, always stiffness matrix has to be symmetric. Okay, you cannot get any time asymmetric stiffness matrix. Okay, so this is a very important thing. So anyway, so now for our problem, so Kij will become mu by H. So our matrix will be 1, minus 1, all others are 0, 2, then minus 1, and then like this the matrix goes actually. So finally in the end also minus 1, 2, minus 1, and then minus 1, 1. So this is how you see the stiffness matrix looks like this actually. Okay, for our this is simple one-dimensional problem itself. All other terms will be 0, 0, 0. You followed, right? Everything will be 0. So this is how the stiffness matrix looks like for this simple problem. So now once so now you can this is how we do for a static problem. So you people can write a small in MATLAB code. Even in the Teigel's books, he has given one Python code where he has given so this problem he has solved like force he has applied, and he has given some initial displacement also. So see this Eigel's textbook. Okay, so he has given one example. Of course, he gives in a Python. You can write a small code in MATLAB actually. Okay, and you can simulate whatever he got. Say the same numbers. You can simulate, and he has compared these solutions. Say this FEM thing. The same equation you can solve with finite difference also. Okay, and even you can solve with pseudo spectral method also. So you can compare all of them. The simple, the one-dimensional is the wave equation. So you can try, okay, by using those methods. And I think he has represented all the figure 6.7. Okay, so page number is 164. So you also try to reproduce the followed, right, whatever he has given by FEM, finite difference, and other type of approaches. Okay. And now this is for the static problem. Now if you want to do the dynamic problem, so you have one more derivative which comes into picture, that is this derivative. Okay, so dou by dou x, so mu dou u by dou x plus f. So this equation, how do we solve in our finite element? Okay, so here also, so the first thing is right. So we try to do this weak form solution. Dou square u by dou t square. Okay, so phi j, these are my test functions. I'm taking the test function is same as the basis function. So then this, we call this as a Galerkin's approach. So dou by dou x, so mu into dou u by dou x phi j times dx plus integral d f times f j dx. Okay, so this is our equation here. So now so this term say, so we integrate by parts. Okay, so when you integrate this by parts, so dou by dou x, so mu dou u by dou x, so phi j times dx. So this you integrate by parts. So you have the same whatever we derived previously, dou u by dou x into phi j. Okay, so this you have to evaluate at the boundaries. Okay, so minus this one, so mu dou u by dou x, and then you see, so dou phi j by dou x dx. Okay, so this you have to evaluate at the boundaries, x min and x max kind of a thing. Okay, so now you substitute here, and if you say that if the stresses are 0, say 0 at the boundaries, so which means so this term will be 0. So anyway you can neglect this term itself. So now if we substitute in our weak form, so rho dou square u by dou t square phi j dx plus so mu into dou u by dou x, and this is dou phi j by dou x, and dx is equal to so we have f times phi j dx. Okay, so this is our equation, assuming it is a stress free. Suppose if it is not stress free, say, then this term also has to be included. Suppose if it is not stress free, suppose let us say it is stress free, but you have given some displacement, say at the starting and at the end, say, then you have to incorporate those two extra quantities also. Okay, which we discussed previously. And now to solve this, so now we assume that so ux comma t, in approximate solution we write like this: I is equal to 1 to n, so u I of t phi I of x actual. So this is the starting point. Suppose if it is a 2D or 3D equation, so then you will have x comma y, or maybe you can partition all of those things itself. So now we substitute this approximate solution. So d dou square u hat by dou t square phi j dx plus so mu dou u bar by dou x and dou phi j say by dou x dx. So this will be f into phi j dx. Okay, so this is our expression. So now when you substitute say u bar in all these expressions, so you can write nicely. So rho dou square by dou t square. So inside the bracket we have I is equal to 1 to n ui of t phi I. Okay, multiplied by phi j times the dx plus we have mu, integral will be there, so dou by dou x sigma I is equal to 1 to n, so ui of t into phi I dou phi j by dou x into dx. So this one will be integral f into phi j dx. Okay, so this is our expression. So now here the integral can be taken inside and the summation can be taken outside, say. So we can write this expression as I is equal to 1 to n, so dou square uy of t by dou t square. Okay, in integral we take this summation term. So we have phi I, then we have this phi j. So you dump those things here. So rho into phi I phi j dx. Okay, so over this domain plus this in the second expression also you take the summation outside. So I is equal to 1 to n, so ui of t, okay, mu into dou phi I by dou x dou phi j by dou x. into dx. Okay, so these, so on the right hand side you have, you see, f into, so 5j dx. Okay, so this is our expression here. So now here, you know, the most important thing comes. So what is these quantities? So these integrals, you say. So we have one integral here, then we have you know, another integral here. So all these integrals actually, so they become your mass, and then you see the stiffness matrix. So our u of t, so this has become like, you know, uy of t. So now we have a mass matrix m, so which is you can write as mij. So this is nothing but this integral, so rho phi I phi j dx. So these are mass matrix. Then we stiffness matrix. So dou phi I by dou x, and then you say dou phi j by dou x dx. So these are our mass matrix, stiffness matrix, and your f. So these are also the forcing function, so which is given by this integral. So f into phi j dx. So now nicely the equation can be written as, you know, so dou square u by dou t square multiplied by mass matrix, plus we have, you know, u times k, the stiffness matrix, is equal to f itself. Okay, so or you know, you can also do like this, a transpose also you can do. So m transpose dou square u by dou t square plus you know, k transpose into u is equal to f. Anyway, because the stiffness matrix is symmetric, say, so k transpose will be same as k itself. If the matrices are symmetric, then you know, it doesn't make sense whether, you know, the mass matrix is symmetric, or you know, then m transpose or k transpose, you will get the same problem. So now, as already I told you, the time derivative, say, we solve in finite difference format, or you know, so in finite differences, so we write this expression as 2 times u of t plus u t minus dt by using 2 times dt square. So this is our finite difference, central difference formula for the time derivative. So now we substitute there. So you have, you know, so m transpose, you know, we have this big expression. So u of t plus delta t, okay, minus 2 times u of t minus dt by dt squares. Okay, so this is equal to, you know, f minus k transpose times u itself. Okay, so now you know, so we have to solve as a time marching scheme. So u plus t of dt, say, so this becomes a dt square. So m transpose is a whole inverse. Then we have you know, f minus you know, k transpose into u plus you know, so 2 times u of t minus u of, you know, t minus dt. So this is our finally, you see, the final, you know, the FEM scheme of combination of FEM and finite difference for the time derivative. So you get this expression. As already I told you, the most important challenge is you have to do this inverse of you know, this stiffness matrix, so sorry, mass matrix. So this is the most important thing when you try to do it in a dynamic problem compared to static problems. Static problems you may have to do inverse of a stiffness, but in dynamic problems, say, you may have to do inverse of, you know, the mass matrix. So this is the most you know, the important, you see, the challenge which we have here. Okay, so now let us write the expressions for mass matrix. You know how the mass matrix looks like. You know, we have written the expression here for the linear elements. Whatever element we have taken before, we have seen how the stiffness matrix looks like, but you know, we can find out how the mass matrix, you know, looks like for this problem itself. Okay, so the same elements, so same basis functions if you do. So you know, so if I write this expression, so our mij rho into, you see, phi I phi j dx. Okay, so we can find out mii how it looks, you know, for linear elements. So rho into, you see, phi I into phi I, that this is the diagonal terms. Okay, so you can write this diagonal term, you can find out rho I minus 1, you know, minus h I minus 1 times 0 psi by, you see, h I minus 1 plus 1 whole square you know, d psi plus you can easily calculate. Okay, so 0 to hi rho I 1 minus you know, the psi by hi whole square dA psi. Okay, this is our diagonal elements. You know, you can write like this, and after simplification, so for that linear problem, you can write as, you know, rho I minus 1 hi minus 1 plus rho I hi. So these are the diagonal terms in your mass matrix. Okay. Now if you take the off diagonal terms, is I minus 1. Okay. So here also in the mass matrix, what is that you expect here in the mass matrix here? So it will be same as a stiffness matrix, or it will be different here also. Now, how the mass matrix looks like here also?
So mass matrix is a diagonal.
Diagonal or off diagonal terms also will be there, right? Or they will not be there.
So they won't be there, sir.
It will be same as it will be same as stiffness matrix.
It will be same as stiffness matrix. See here the mass and your stiffness will be coupled. Okay, so this be careful. So you can calculate here also. Okay, but only thing is it is same as stiffness matrix. Other term like a banded kind of a thing here also you can verify yourself. So you can check. So rho I minus 1. You can do these integrals and you can verify yourself. And they're just writing the general expressions. So psi by h I minus 1 plus 1. Okay. So minus sorry. Minus psi by h I minus 1 d psi. Okay. So this turns out to be 1 by 6 rho I minus 1 h I minus 1. And you can also solve for m I plus 1 also. Okay, this is m21 it gives, and this gives you m12 also. So this also you can calculate 0 to hi 1 minus psi by hi d psi. So this turns out to be 1 by 6 rho I into hi. Okay, so this is how the mass matrix looks like, and the mass matrix if you try to locate it looks like this. So rho h by 6 if you take it outside, so you get a matrix like this. So all R will be 0, so you will be having 1 4 1 1 4 1 like this. You will get all these terms. All other things will be 0 0 itself. Okay, so this is how the matrix looks like. It is something band kind of a thing we have. And of course the stiffness matrix we have already written previously. You can write general the terms. Okay, so KII say you can derive so mu I minus 1 by hi minus 1 plus mu I by hi. You can do the integrals. Okay, and I plus 1. This is mu I by hi, and I minus 1. So this becomes minus mu I minus 1 by h. Here also there is a minus. Okay, so this is a stiffness matrix, and as already we written the stiffness matrix, so it is like this. Okay, 1 minus 1 2 minus 1 minus 1 2 minus 1 like that. It goes away. Okay, so this is how the mass matrix and stiffness matrices looks like actually. Okay, so now if you see this the Eigel's book say, okay, so he has solved this problem for some parameters he has taken. So all of you you can also represent this. You can solve this problem, the simulations. He has given how the mass matrix inverse of mass matrix and how he has implemented, and he has given a nice the Python code in the book. Okay, so you can see that figure number 6.9. So you can write a small code in MATLAB and you can solve this one. Okay, time domain is the problem itself. So you can see how the solution. You see here the previous one was only static problem, but now here you have dynamics as well as both of them are there. So here you can plot how the solution varies. How it varies. So he has taken some boundary conditions, and he has given all the material properties are there. Okay, and he has given I think a forcing function somewhere around 20 hertz say. So for this he has simulated. So all of you people can also try and implement in our MATLAB, and then for our better for your better understanding. Okay, so please try this example also. And here in FEM say, so now the main advantage is on FEM also, like as already we told, right, your stability is there. What is the stability? Depends on stability, dispersion, we have discussed long back. They depend on what? Stability. What is that equation? Now, what is meant by the stability? Long back we said, right? Now, people have forgotten what is the stability. Stability depends on what?
So it depends upon root, sir.
Root. No, stability of a scheme actually. Wannmann's Newman, anyway, that we have done, that is fine only. But finally, what was our stability conditions? See, like, how do we select that delta? You remember, no, time domain, this is if delta is in times delta t, you remember long back we have done p if it is h by, some c into, you see something like that we have written, where c is the, the phase velocity. You remember all those things we have discussed, and h is, your spatial sampling. Okay, so now suppose if you are having a beam, say some portion it is different material, here it is a different material actually. Okay, so you are having two different velocities. So now what should happen, and if you keep delta t as same actually, okay, the time step, and now what should happen in the this domain, in the element size, what should happen here? See this equation and tell me. So if C is higher, what should be this one? So C1 is less than C2. Okay. What should be the element size actually here? Whether it should be same or different? But you can use the same stability, this equation, whatever we did previously for finite difference, that is also valid here also. Okay. So look at this expression and tell me whether element size or the sampling should be same or different. So we are having two different velocities, two different materials are there.
It will be different.
So where element size will be more, so delta t has to be same actually. Okay, so one is h by, you followed right, c1, other one is h by, you see, c2 will be there. And now if I want to keep it same, say what is that you have to do here? See, like for example h1 say will be
So
c2.
inverse.
So now what should happen here? So if c1 is less than c2, say what should happen? So if H2, if I take as 1 kilometer, say, okay, if H2 is 1 kilometer here, so now, because C1 is less than C2, right? So your element sizes, it should be depending on our, the phase velocities. So phase velocities are different, say. So then, some places, wherever the phase velocity is very high, you may have to go for finer sampling. Wherever the velocity is this ones, you may have to go for, you see. So that depends on, so the stability equation, the element size and others, still the same whatever we discussed previously itself is perfectly valid. Even FEM also, no need to substitute that von Neumann equations and others. Finally we'll arrive at this solution itself here also, FEM also. Okay, so anyway, I will stop here. Next class, we will continue our discussion. So in the meantime, say all of you can try that Eigel's book. He has given the examples, one-dimensional static problem and dynamic problem. So you people, you follow right, to try to write a small code in MATLAB and just get those results itself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if there is any doubts, you can ask me. If you want to say anything. So if there is nothing, we will close our discussion.